Before I jump to the discussion, there are a few things which I wanted to talk about. Uh, you already know the structure of the examination, you already know the relevance of the topic for the examination. So you can expect minimum 10 questions, maximum, I think, 14 questions from science and tech. So on an average, let's say if you expect 12 questions, I expect all of you here, you're sitting here, that you go and attempt at least 10 questions out of that 12. This is a topic where it is very much doable. In other topics, not so much, because many other topics are very factual in nature. Science tech can be factual, at least some current affairs based questions can be factual, but most of the questions will not be. Most of the questions you can attempt then and there. Even if you are coming across a theme for the first time, prima facie it may look like a very difficult question. But believe me, you have to spend some time, you have to analyze options and you'll get the right answer. तो ये realize करना बहुत ज़रूरी है और ये confidence होना बहुत ज़रूरी है that आपका background क्या है कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. जैसे आई एम स्पेशली सेइंग टू दोज स्टूडेंट्स जिन्होंने 10th या 12th के बाद साइंस नहीं पढ़ा है. सो आई ऑलवेज फेल्ट दैट अक्रॉस मेनी ईयर्स ऑफ टीचिंग नाउ दैट थोड़ा सा एक डर है और वो डर को हटा के फेंकना है कि ये 12 में अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि मिनिमम 10 करना है देन आई एक्सपेक्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू डू दैट. ऐसा नहीं है कि जस्ट बिकॉज आप इंजीनियर हो या डॉक्टर हो या साइंस आपने कर रखा है, फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता है. सो जो यूपीएससी का जो नेचर ऑफ क्वेश्चन है और जो जिस तरीके से क्वेश्चन फ्रेम होंगे उसमें एज सच कोई एडवांटेज या डिसएडवांटेज नहीं है कि आपका बैकग्राउंड क्या है. ठीक है, व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड आउट ऑफ यू कि आप करंट अफेयर्स को सीरियसली लोगे, आप चीज़ों को अच्छे से रिवाइज करोगे और कौन सी चीज़ों को रिवाइज करना है वो क्लैरिटी होना ज़रूरी है. तो मेरा पर्पस यही होगा दैट ऑल ऑफ द टॉपिक्स ऑफ कोर्स वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस, बट व्हाट आर द थीम्स और व्हाट आर द थिंग्स विच वी शुड फोकस अपॉन इन अ स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक, इस पे हम ज़्यादा टाइम इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. ठीक है, आई विल स्टार्ट विथ सिलेबस. देखो सिलेबस तो कुछ है नहीं इन द सेंस कि अगर आप प्रीलिम्स देखोगे जाके तो सिलेबस में लिखा हुआ है जनरल साइंस. These are the two words which are mentioned, which essentially does not tell you anything, and which also tells you that they can ask question from any topic, right? What I have done here is that I always think about that as an aspirant, you should think about this question, that why this topic is part of your syllabus. जैसे मेंस में भी है, पेपर 3 में साइंस टेक सिलेबस में है, प्रीलिम्स में भी है. So we can start with this question, that ये सिलेबस में है ही क्यों? And in fact, we can ask this same question for each and every topic. Yes, for few topics, that question is very obvious. Just say, why you have to study polity? That's very obvious. You are trying to being an administrator, you have to know rules, constitutions, all of those things. So it's very obvious, okay? But what about science and tech? Why science and tech is part of the syllabus? Let's start with this question. It's a very simple, straightforward question. Why do you think UPSC has kept science and tech as part of syllabus? Okay, that's good. I will add more layers of information, but that's actually good. Anyone else would want to add more point? That's fantastic, and that's a very interesting way of thinking, that because science is based on critical analysis, so studying science also hopefully will help in developing critical analysis. I have although realized that critical thinking and your degree in science, you do not have like very good causality of that. I have done my graduation from what is considered one of the premier institutes of this country, and I am part of many alumni groups on WhatsApp. And when I look at some of the WhatsApp messages, I realize that are these the same people from my institute? So ऐसा है नहीं कि जो scientific temperament and critical thinking, and I know many people who have done their humanities, and I find that they are much better at critical thinking compared to people who have actually done science. So ये ज़रूरी नहीं है. एक तो सबसे पहले जो critical thinking versus आपका degree कौन से subject में ज़रूरी नहीं है. But still I will take that point. The science, because fundamentally science emerges out of critical thinking, asking very basic fundamental questions about working of the nature. Okay. Anyone else would want to add why this topic is part of your syllabus? एक तो एक ऑब्वियस कारण हो ही सकता है. देखो जैसे एज यू राइटली पॉइंटेड आउट दैट जो पूरा एग्जाम है वो एक ये है कि आपको एक नॉलेज होना चाहिए अक्रॉस मेनी डोमेन्स. वी यूज अ वर्ड जनरलिस्ट फॉर इट. यू हैव टू बी जनरलिस्ट अक्रॉस मेनी थिंग्स. Whatever is happening in the world, you should know about that. And one of the things which is happening in the world is progress in science and progress in technology. So we should of course know about that. तो एक तो जो एक focus है UPSC का, that they want aware candidate, they want curious candidate. And knowing about science and technology is part of that awareness and that curiosity. तो एक तो बहुत obvious कारण ये है. But I think a more important reason is that when you become a bureaucrat, one of the primary responsibility you have is that you have to think about public policy. You have to think about problems, solutions. You have to design public policy. And one of the solution you'll always probe is that if we do face a problem, then how can those problems be solved with help of, let's say, some technology, right? So, just say when we study space technology, so it is not only about that what has ISRO done in, let's say, communication satellite or remote sensing satellite. It is also about that how those satellites are helping us in administration. For example, how they are helping us in making our healthcare better or education better or agriculture better. So ये जो focus है ना, that when we think, जैसे एक दिल्ली के context में बात करते हैं, एक बहुत ही contemporary problem जो है वो air pollution का है. तो air pollution में हम बात करेंगे कि ठीक हम क्या कर सकते हैं air pollution को solve करने के लिए. So one of the solution we'll always pro for is technological solution. और वो भी अलग अलग लेवल, जैसे आपका environment का क्लास हुआ ही है, तो आप जैसे देखो आप अलग अलग लेवल पे बात करोगे. पहले तो आप देखोगे कि pollution का source क्या है. हम बात करेंगे vehicular emission source है, तो आप बात करोगे कि how can our vehicles be better, which will reduce amount of pollutants which are being thrown into the air. Right? तो हम sources level पे कैसे problem को solve करें. फिर दूसरा लेवल ये होगा कि प्रॉब्लम है, ऑलरेडी पॉल्यूटेंट्स हैं, उन पॉल्यूटेंट्स को हम कैसे फिल्टर करें, कैसे रिमूव करें. तो वहाँ पे विल टॉक अबाउट लेट्स से थिंग्स लाइक क्लाउड सीडिंग, जो यूपीएससी ने लास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन पूछा था. फिर आप क्लाउड सीडिंग के बारे में पढ़ोगे. अच्छा, क्लाउड सीडिंग खाली आपको ऐसे बता दिया जाए कि क्लाउड सीडिंग जो है वो एयर पोल्यूशन सॉल्व करने के लिए, बट यू शुड आस्क देन मोर बेसिक क्वेश्चन कि काम ही कैसे करेगा. ये जो क्लाउड सीडिंग जो पूरा मेथड है, इसका वर्किंग प्रिंसिपल क्या होगा, राइट. तो फिर वहाँ पे आप जो आपका नॉलेज ऑफ जोग्राफी है वो हेल्प करेगा कि हाउ क्लाउड फॉर्म्स, पूरा क्लाउड कंडेंसेशन होता ही कैसे है, वाई सम पार्टिकल्स विल हेल्प इन क्लाउड कंडेंसेशन, वाई अदर्स विल नॉट, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ प्री रिक्वेजिट्स आर. जैसे जब ये पूरा पोल्यूशन प्रॉब्लम न्यूज़ में था तो आपने पढ़ा होगा न्यूज़ में कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने किया था ये, बट इट वॉज नॉट सक्सेसफुल. सो यू लास्ट दिस क्वेश्चन दैट वाई वॉज इट नॉट सक्सेसफुल. इट वॉज सपोज टू बी सक्सेसफुल बट इट वॉज नॉट. व्हाट हैपेंड देयर? द पॉइंट इज that one of the very important reason why science and tech is part of your syllabus, that when we think about solutions to the social economic problems we as a nation are facing, we have to think about technological solution. So in that context, now we can think about different domains of technology which are important for administrative purposes, public policy purposes, and all of that, right? So that is why what I have done here, I have divided this entire syllabus into certain keywords, and material is also built in the same way, that topics are given according to in which part of this syllabus they fit into. So for example, in today's class we'll start with space के जो topics आपके दे रखे हैं material में. In next topic will be information and communication technology. Next we will do biotechnology and health. ये चार topic जो है, this will cover about 70% of the syllabus. Like most of the questions will be from these four. One topic which has become very, very important, and again you can appreciate that why this topic is given here. As a nation, one of the most important goal we should have is that how we can become secure we can become secure in terms of energy. जो भी हमारा energy है, whatever energy we are producing, that energy should not pollute environment. जैसे we should try to reduce our coal-based thermal power plants or diesel or natural gas. And at the same time, that also does not mean that we should compromise upon energy production. So if we are doing solar and wind and nuclear and green hydrogen, then what should be the right approach in all of those different sources of energy? So even this as a topic becomes very important एक साइंस में एक जो, जब हम साइंस की बात करते हैं, फॉरगेट अबाउट टेक्नोलॉजी, जब हम साइंस की बात करते हैं तो एक जो डोमेन है जहाँ पे हमेशा यू हैव लाइक सम स्कोप ऑफ फाइंडिंग मोर एंड मोर इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट working of nature is physics. So you'll find that few questions are asked by UPSC from time to time, where what is happening at the fundamental level in field of physics, like some of the grand research facilities which exist in the world, what type of work they are doing, उसके बारे में भी एक awareness होना चाहिए, ठीक है, apart from the knowledge of technology. A domain which people do not talk about enough, but ये हर alternate year आपको कम से कम एक क्वेश्चन तो मिल जाएगा उसमें, वो है मटेरियल साइंस पे. दैट कोई एग्जॉटिक मटेरियल यूपीएससी पूछ लेगी, जैसे आप, आई विल गिव यू फ्यू एग्जांपल. लास्ट ईयर वाज देयर अ क्वेश्चन ऑन लास्ट ईयर कोई था मटेरियल पे, कोई, हाँ, जो रेयर अर्थ मिनरल वाला क्वेश्चन था. उसके लास्ट ईयर जो है आप एक क्वेश्चन था हाइड्रोजेल पे. उसके लास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन था कार्बन कंपोजिट जो एक होता है, उस पे क्वेश्चन था. सो विल फाइंड दैट मटेरियल साइंस जो है वो भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है, राइट. सो देर इज लाइक दैट ऑल्सो हैव I asked the team to add it here. And then defense has again become important. In 3-4 साल से तो हर साल एक क्वेश्चन आ ही रहा है. And given the fact that Operation Sindoor has occurred and defense has been so much in news, so I expect questions from that also. Okay. And some topics which I cannot fit it anywhere, I have added that in the end. But I think I will be able to fit almost every topic into these keywords. Okay. How should you approach any topic? You have to know, कोई भी टॉपिक जब आप पढ़ोगे साइंस टेक में, ये प्रीलिम्स मेंस दोनों में काम करेगा, कि आप उसको 4 मेन सब हेडिंग में बांटोगे हर टॉपिक को. जो मेरा पहला सब हेडिंग होगा वो आप फोकस करोगे, दैट इफ आई टेल यू अबाउट अ टर्म फ्रॉम साइंस एंड टेक, then you have to know the basic meaning of it. Like I ask you to define it in some 30, 40, 50 words, and you are able to do that. I'm not asking you to go into the technical details of it. Right? जैसे मान लो कि AI बहुत ज़्यादा न्यूज़ में है. AI का एक स्पेसिफिक टेक्नोलॉजी हम बात करते हैं, डीप लर्निंग की बात करते हैं. दैट आई आस्क अ क्वेश्चन अबाउट डीप लर्निंग, आई थ्रो दिस कीवर्ड एट यू, डीप लर्निंग. I do not want you to, of course, do any coding in deep learning. I do not want that, that goes without saying, but I would want you to define what it is. I would want you to think about how this as a technology is being used across multiple domains. So first is a basic awareness, basic understanding of the term itself. That if I'm throwing a term, then what does it mean? If I'm telling you blockchain technology, what does it mean? Second thing, how we can use a particular domain of technology across multiple domains. And few of those domains will be more important than other. Just say if something has application in agriculture or medicine or health or disaster management, so those themes, those applications definitely become more important. Especially for mains और भी ज़्यादा important है, but prelims के लिए भी हम focus करेंगे that we should know about applications across various domains. Third heading which I will focus upon is that टेक्नोलॉजी के अपने कुछ इश्यूज हैं, कुछ चैलेंजेस हैं, कुछ लिमिटेशंस हैं. तो जो इश्यूज, चैलेंजेस, लिमिटेशंस हैं, वी शुड नो अबाउट देम आल्सो. ओके. एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, इफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, इफ यूनियन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज डूइंग समथिंग in that specific domain of technology, if you have some scheme, some initiative, some program, some document has been released, right? And if that was in news in last 2-3 years, then I will prepare that also. तो ये 4 चीज़ें अगर हमारी clear है, a basic understanding of the topic, the application about a particular technology, the limitations, challenges, issues about that particular technology, and last but not the least, any government initiative, and I'm good to go. I can attempt prelims or mains questions. Okay? So let's start our topics. Let's start the first topic I'm going to start with. It's space technology. ओके, सो बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स दे रखे हैं आपके मटेरियल में, थोड़ा सा इसको स्ट्रक्चर करते हैं पहले। जो अलग अलग हैपहेज़ार्ड तरीके से दे रखा है, इसको भी थोड़ा सा स्ट्रक्चर करते हैं। सो लेट्स फोकस अपॉन, बिकॉज आई विल डू दैट इन ईच एंड एवरी टॉपिक। थोड़ा सा एक बेसिक लेवल हम बात करेंगे, जैसे हम स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी की हम बात करते हैं। So we first thing which we talk about in space technology is types of satellites, right? When we think of space technology, this is the first thing which comes to mind, that there are different type of satellites, and those satellites have different sets of applications, okay? How many types of satellites are there? Mainly 3. I can talk about many, but mainly there are 3 types of satellites, okay? So I have communication satellites. I have Earth observation satellites. I have navigational satellites. Okay, so as I said, we will do this layers of information about each and every topic. If I talk about communication satellite, the meaning is very simple. Earth is a huge planet and it has a curvature. It has a spherical curvature, it is not flat. As a result of that, if I want to send information from one point to another point, then एक तो तरीका ये है कि हम बहुत सारे वायर बिछा दें और वायर से हम सिग्नल को ट्रांसमिट करें. That is how internet functions. मोबाइल टावर बिछा दें, मोबाइल टावर को हम वायर से कनेक्ट करें, दैट इज़ हाउ मोबाइल नेटवर्क फंक्शंस. और दूसरा तरीका ये है दैट हम एक सैटेलाइट लॉन्च करें, दैट सैटेलाइट रिसीव्स अ सिग्नल फ्रॉम सम रेडियो स्टेशन एंड इट ट्रांसमिट्स दैट सिग्नल बैक टू प्लैनेट अर्थ. ठीक है, तो एक तरीका हो सकता है कम्युनिकेशन इस्टेब्लिश करने का. वी कॉल सच टाइप ऑफ सैटेलाइट्स कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट्स. देन when we talk about Earth observation satellite, this is very specific. We do not use them in our day-to-day life unless we are using map. You are aspirants, so you are of course using map. आप सबके पास Atlas है. Atlas में जितने भी आपके maps हैं, उसका जो सबसे important data collection mechanism है, map prepare करने के लिए I need information. जैसे मान लो आपके पास एक map है different type of forest into India, right? और आपके पास map है different type of soil into India, or about water resources or mineral resources. All of those maps, they were prepared with help of what is called Earth observation satellites. So these satellites, they gather information about Earth's surface, Earth's atmosphere, Earth's hydrosphere. So oceans, rivers, lakes, and even atmosphere that tell you about those properties right now and how those properties are changing across time. So any Earth observation satellite which you launch, generally satellites will have a life of, let's say, 5 years. That will be more also. So one satellite not only tells you the information right now, but also how this is going to change. जैसे मान लो मुझे एक सैटेलाइट है जिसका पर्पस है कि दिल्ली में यमुना का जो पूरा फ्लड प्लेन है वो कैसे चेंज हो रहा है. तो यमुना फ्लड प्लेन पे जो इंक्रोचमेंट है, दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम. सो वो जो इंक्रोचमेंट कैसे ईयर बाय ईयर चेंज हुआ है, वी कैन मॉनिटर दैट विथ हेल्प ऑफ अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट्स. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द पर्पस ऑफ Earth observation satellites. Very, very useful for mapping purposes. Navigational satellite purpose is simple, that they tell you where you are. What is your latitude, longitude, and altitude. That where exactly on planet Earth you are. GPS is the most famous navigational satellite. एक आपके मटेरियल में टॉपिक दे रखा है डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्बिट्स. आप देखना स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी में एक टॉपिक दे रखा है डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ऑर्बिट्स. तो इसको भी अभी ही समझ लेते हैं बिकॉज ये बेसिक में हमारे फिट हो जाएगा, ये बेसिक साइंस में हमारे फिट हो जाएगा. आप कम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट को रैंडमली कहीं पे भी नहीं भेज सकते. सिमिलरली अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट को आप रैंडमली कहीं पे भी नहीं भेज सकते. टर्न्स आउट दैट सम ऑफ द ऑर्बिट्स आर मोर यूजफुल देन अदर. जैसे एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल हम ले सकते हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ अ सिंपल एग्जांपल. Let's start with this Earth observation satellite. That where should I place it? How much time it will take for a satellite to revolve around Earth? That depends upon इसका height क्या है. That's it. दैट इसका हाइट क्या है. इस सैटेलाइट के मास पे बिल्कुल डिपेंडेंट नहीं होगा. सैटेलाइट मास प्लेज नो रोल इन टाइम पीरियड ऑफ रिवोल्यूशन. दिस कैन बी प्रूवन मैथमेटिकली. वी डू नॉट हैव टू डू मैथमेटिक्स हियर, बट इसको प्रूव करना एक लाइन का एक मैथमेटिकल इक्वेशन है, प्रूव कर सकते हैं दैट ये जो टाइम पीरियड ऑफ रिवोल्यूशन है, दिस ओनली एंड ओनली डिपेंड्स अपॉन दैट इसका हाइट क्या है. ओके, if I go farther and farther away from Earth, then time period of revolution that reduces. So I can ask a simple question here that if I have, जैसे मान लो इंटरनेशनल अर्थ स्पेस स्टेशन आपके मटेरियल में दे भी रखा है, उसका ऑर्बिट जो है करीब करीब 410 किलोमीटर है. इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन है दैट इज ऑर्बिटिंग एट द हाइट ऑफ 410 किलोमीटर. हाउ मच टाइम डू यू थिंक इट टेक्स फॉर द ISS to complete one revolution around Earth? 90 minutes. It takes about 90 minutes. So if I am at the height of about 410 kilometer, then it takes about 90 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes. If I am at height of about 36,000 kilometer, and to be more precise, 35,786 kilometer, then the time period becomes 24 hours. Exactly in the same time Earth rotates on its axis, okay? So I will come to that. By the way, that is a very important height. I will come to that. But let's start with a very simple question that if I want to launch an Earth observation satellite, should I place it nearer to Earth or should I place farther away from Earth? Why? Okay, it will be better data. In simple terms, that if I'm trying to image Earth's surface, if I'm closer to Earth, then my data quality will be better. The farther I go, my data quality is going to suffer. I'm essentially trying to image Earth's surface. I'm trying to analyze those images, and I'm trying to find more information about Earth's surfaces. So I should be closer to Earth, right? That makes sense. But iska ek bas nuksan ye hoga that if you are very closer to Earth, then you can only see a small part of Earth. जैसे जैसे हम दूर चले जाएंगे, I will be able to see a larger and larger part of Earth. Okay? So that's like simple challenge, but okay, that's fine because getting good data is more important than covering larger area. Covering larger area can be important in some cases. बहुत सारे countries spy satellites launch करते हैं. ये जो Earth observation satellite है, it can also act as a spy satellite where you want to monitor a larger part of Earth simultaneously. किसी ने nuclear bomb detonate किया है, किसी country ने. So very large events, it can be witnessed from a satellite which is even very, very far away. Okay? So ऐसा नहीं है कि Earth observation satellite हम high Earth orbits में नहीं भेज सकते हैं. It's just that lower Earth orbits will be more useful. Okay? But I do one more classification that I can have an orbit which will look like this, and I can have an orbit which will look like this, right? So there is an orbit which is essentially just above equator, or it is, let's say, inclined, something like this, or it is moving from pole to pole, from North Pole to South Pole. My question is again same, that for mapping purposes, for Earth observation satellite purpose, will these two orbits, equatorial, and I'm calling this orbit polar, are these two equivalent, or does one provide more advantage over another? The question is, that this is my Earth, this point is equator. One of the possibility of having an orbit is that I'm revolving above equator. Okay? I'm going to call this orbit equatorial orbit. Another possibility is that I'm revolving from pole to pole. I'm going to call it polar orbit. It goes without saying that most of the orbits will be neither equatorial nor polar. Most of the orbits will have some angle from that equator. So my question was that from the perspective of Earth observation, again I repeat this question, from the perspective of Earth observation, these two orbits, equatorial and polar, are they equivalent? Equivalent का मतलब ये है कि दोनों में same set of advantage disadvantage है, या एक उसमें ज़्यादा advantageous है? Equatorial will be better, okay? Polar will be better. Why would polar will be better? Why would polar be better? Every area. Because polar orbits, if I am into polar orbit, remember Earth is revolving, Earth is rotating below me. The satellite is revolving, but Earth is rotating below. If I am into equatorial orbit, सिंपल सा ये बहुत सिंपल सा इमेजिनेशन है. If I am into equatorial orbit, then maybe I can see few kilometers above equator, few kilometers below equator. So as I revolve around Earth in equatorial orbit, I have a very good line of observation for this small strip, right? But if I am revolving above pole, then as I revolve, Earth is rotating below me. And as I revolve, one revolution, this strip, but by the time I come back, another strip. So I essentially cover all part of planet Earth. I can map the entire planet Earth. So polar orbits are very, very useful if I want to send a Earth observation satellite. So I will remember that. The polar orbits are very useful for Earth observation satellite. They allow you to map entire planet Earth. Okay? Within polar orbit, there is a very specific type of polar orbit, which is called sun synchronous polar orbit. The reason I am talking about, the reason I am going this in way, because जो हमारा पहला टॉपिक है मटेरियल में, वो है निसार मिशन, नासा इसरो सिंथेटिक एपर्चर रडार. तो उसमें बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, एंड आई कैन एक्सपेक्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम एनी ऑफ दैट. सो आई वांट टू एक्सप्लेन दैट निसार का पर्पस क्या है, उसमें बाद में आएंगे. निसार जो है एक तरीके का अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट है. अगर हम एक सिंपल लाइन में मुझे बोलना हो निसार मिशन के बारे में, सो पहला टॉपिक जो आपके मटेरियल में दे रखा है, and if I have to again think about an important topic for this year prelims or next year prelims, ये जब तक इस पे क्वेश्चन आ नहीं जाए तब तक ये टॉपिक इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा. और चूंकि ये जस्ट लास्ट ईयर लॉन्च हुआ है तो इस साल के लिए तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर नहीं आए तो अगले साल के लिए और इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाएगा. देयर आर टॉपिक्स लाइक दैट. जैसे आदित्य L1 मिशन हैज नॉट बीन आस्क्ड बाय यूपीएससी. ये जब तक इस पे क्वेश्चन आ नहीं जाए तब तक ये इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा टॉपिक, राइट? सो निसार इज अ इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. I will talk about its objective. I will explain the meaning of this word synthetic aperture radar, all of that. But first, let's try to understand what type of satellite it is. It is an Earth observation satellite. And it is placed into what is called sun synchronous polar orbit. इसका जो orbit है, this orbit is sun synchronous polar orbit. Let's try to appreciate that why it is placed into sun synchronous polar orbit. आप imagine करो, इसको हम ऐसे appreciate कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पे imagine करना मुश्किल है, technically थोड़ा सा मुश्किल भी topic है, but फिर भी हम एक simple line of thought को हम धीरे धीरे हम progress करेंगे, and I think that you all will be able to appreciate this topic, right? आप इमेजिन करो कि कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट जिसका कुछ मोशन है, किसी भी टाइप का मोशन है, वो मोशन अर्थ के रेस्पेक्ट में एक फिक्स्ड ओरिएंटेशन में हो रहा है. जैसे एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल सैटेलाइट हो गया. दैट सैटेलाइट इज रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड अर्थ, बट अर्थ इज रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड सन, राइट? सो इफ the satellite orbit is happening in a fixed plane, that earth के respect में इसका जो orbital plane है, that plane remains fixed, let's say. But because earth is revolving around sun, ये जो orbital plane होगा, that will change with respect to sun. Everything which is fixed with respect to earth, and earth is revolving around sun, so everything which is fixed with respect to earth, in a way is also revolving around earth. So every object which is fixed with respect to earth, its orientation is little bit changing every day. How much of change? One complete revolution, how many degree? 360 degree. How many days? 365 days. So on an average, an object whose orientation is fixed with respect to Earth changes its orientation with respect to Sun by about 1 degree. जैसे ये अभी यहाँ पे था, ये कल यहाँ पे होगा. This is about 1 degree. So anything which is fixed with respect to Earth changes by 1 degree every day. इसका एक प्रॉब्लम ऐसे सैटेलाइट्स के साथ क्या होगा, जैसे इमेजिन करो कि एक सैटेलाइट है जो दिल्ली से क्यूब अबव क्रॉस किया when sun was exactly above the satellite, which essentially means afternoon. It was exactly 12 o'clock, not 12 o'clock by time, 12 o'clock by position of sun in the sky. That sun was exactly above this satellite. This satellite orbit is fixed with respect to Earth. Earth is revolving around sun. As a result of that, this orbital plane is also changing every day with respect to sun. So next time when it crosses above Delhi, there is no guarantee that जो sun होगा वो exactly above satellite होगा. हो सकता है sun 4 बजे हो, 3 बजे सुबह में हो, 4 बजे शाम को हो. So whatever data, whatever images I have captured from this satellite about Delhi, those images have been captured in different lighting. एक इमेज जो था मेरा 12 बजे दोपहर में था, दूसरा 3 बजे था. अगर ऑप्टिकल इमेजिंग सैटेलाइट है तो रात को तो मैं इमेज ले भी नहीं पाऊंगा. रिमेंबर टू कैप्चर इमेज आई नीड लाइट. तो रात को इमेज हम ले ही नहीं पाएंगे. राइट, सो दिस इज अ चैलेंज. इन सन सिंक्रोनस ऑर्बिट व्हाट वी डू, we ensure that satellite's orbit, it remains fixed with respect to sun. The orbit का जो orientation है, it remains fixed with respect to sun, which immediately means that with respect to Earth, it is going to change. And that change does not require even a single drop of fuel. That is the most remarkable part. I will not go into explaining that. ज़रूरत नहीं है हमको इस class के लिए. That why does it not require any type of fuel? But this orbit, जैसे मान लो कि ये orbital plane है, इस plane में revolve कर रहा है. This plane in itself changes. And that change happens about 1 degree every day in a way that it neutralizes effect of Earth revolution around sun. So satellites in this orbit, they maintain a fixed orientation with respect to sun. As a result of that, whenever they cross above a point on planet Earth, the position of sun in the sky is more or less same, which means that whatever images they have taken about that particular place, that image was taken in the same amount of lighting and shadow across 4 or 5 years. So when scientists will look at those images, when they will do image processing, they do not have to worry about this fact that one of that image was evening, another was morning. They do not have to worry about that variable. They know that this image was taken in the same amount of lighting and shadow. So sun synchronous orbit is a very, very useful orbit. I will repeat if I have to mention that in one line about sun synchronous polar orbit. Satellite orbit maintains fixed orientation with respect to sun, which means इसका एक benefit ये है that it crosses above a point or above Earth. Whenever it crosses above a particular point on Earth, and point का मतलब यहाँ पे पूरा place है. Delhi is a point. If I'm very far away, then entire Delhi is a point. So whenever it crosses above a particular point on planet Earth, position of sun in the sky will be more or less the same. And as a result of that, I can now image a surface for many, many years, and I do not have to worry about that changes in lighting and shadow. This is the benefit of polar sun synchronous orbit. Now you can appreciate that why NISAR, which is a remote sensing satellite. By the way, ये दो terms same है. Earth observation and remote sensing satellite जो है वो same है. Remote sensing का मतलब ये है I am trying to sense something, I'm trying to measure something, find out something from far away. Right? So in this case, I'm trying to observe Earth from far away. Hence also the name Earth observation or remote sensing satellite. So NISAR is an example of Earth observation satellite or remote sensing satellite, and it is placed into sun synchronous polar orbit. As a result of that, whatever data it has gathered about a particular place, the data has essentially been taken into same amount of lighting and shadow. Okay. So although NISAR को sunlight की ज़रूरत नहीं है, NISAR uses its own radio wave. I'm going to explain how does synthetic aperture radar function. But in general, keep this at the back of your mind. That there is a reason many Earth observation satellites are placed into polar sun synchronous orbit. So I will repeat what I said. For Earth observation satellite, I should ideally go into LEO, low Earth orbit, about 500, 600, 800, 900, not more than that. Although LEO का जो technical definition है, this word which I am using, low Earth orbit, the technical definition can be 182 2000 kilometer. But for all practical purposes, remember that if you have an orbit from practical orbits जो है वो 400 से 800 किलोमीटर पे है, 400 to 800 किलोमीटर पे है. So LEO is useful. Even within LEO, polar orbits are useful, and even within polar orbit, that sun synchronous polar orbits are very very useful for remote sensing satellites. I will इस तरीके से हम चीज़ों को फोकस करेंगे, रटना नहीं हमको कि NISAR has been placed into sun synchronous polar orbit. The moment I know what type of satellite NISAR is, then this should immediately click that yeah, it should be placed into some sort of polar orbit. ठीक है? What about communication satellites? Communication satellites, they do not have to gather information about Earth. They have to transmit, receive information from Earth, and then they have to transmit information back to Earth. तो यहाँ पे अगर हम मान लो लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में हो, if there is a communication satellite which is very closer to Earth. So first it has to receive data from Earth. But it will not be able to receive, so for example, if I have a satellite here, it will not be able to receive data here, from here, or here, from here. It can only receive data from a very small part of planet Earth. And it can only transmit data back to planet Earth to a very small area. But if I go very far away, then now I can receive signal from this part of the Earth, and I can send signal back to this part of the Earth. So if I want to launch communication satellites, I will try to go farther away, right? And even within that farther away, now let me come to the final classification, is a type of orbit which is called geosynchronous orbit. वो भी आपके material में दे रखा है. Geosynchronous orbit. Geosynchronous orbit का definition ये है that satellite का जो time period of revolution है वो 24 घंटे है. Satellite is revolving in 24 hours, which means that it is exactly the same time Earth completes one rotation on its axis. ये बहुत remarkable property है, and इसको appreciate करना आसान है when I look at a specific example. And that specific example is called geostationary orbit. Geostationary orbit is an orbit which exists exactly above equator, and a satellite in this orbit completes one revolution in 24 hours. As a result of that, again इसको आप imagine कर सकते हो. आप imagine करो कि there is a satellite just below India at this point, and Earth is rotating. Earth completes one rotation in 24 hours. Satellite is revolving. So by the time, let's say for example, this point, this is some angle. Let's call this 0 degree. And it has rotated by 30 degree. But the satellite has also revolved by 30 degree. So the satellite will seem to be fixed exactly above this particular point on equator. So satellites which are into geostationary orbit, they seem to be fixed with respect to a particular point on equator. As a result of that, if I launch a satellite here, then I can have a radio station in this part of the area, and I will always be able to receive signal from this satellite. And all of the radio stations located in this area, they will be able to send signal to this particular satellite. Even though Earth is rotating and satellite is revolving, this satellite maintains a fixed synchronization with respect to a particular point on Earth. So if I have one satellite here, another satellite here, then I have covered about 80% of planet Earth. And I need one more here, and I have covered 100% of planet Earth. So geostationary orbit का और geosynchronous orbits का जो फायदा ये है that with very few number of satellites, I can cover entire planet Earth for communication purposes. Okay. If it is not equatorial orbit, so geostationary is a very special case where the orbit is geosynchronous, but it is also equatorial. But geosynchronous का definition है any inclination, equatorial हो नहीं हो फर्क नहीं पड़ता, as long as time period of revolution is 24 hours, I will call it geosynchronous. So what about other inclinations? If it is not equatorial, what it will look like? जैसे मान लो कि there is a satellite जो कि 10 डिग्री, ये equatorial plane है और इससे 10 डिग्री पे घूम रहा हो. तो हमको बस आकाश में ऊपर नीचे जाते हुए दिखेगा, ये फिक्स तो नहीं दिखेगा, but it will seem to be oscillating somewhere in the sky. But the main point is that I will be able to maintain synchronization. If there is a radio station here in India, that radio station will be able to maintain synchronization with this particular satellite. That radio station will always be able to send signal and will always be able to receive signal back to planet Earth. So this is the property of geosynchronous or geostationary orbits, okay? And the same property is also used by some of the navigational satellite, such as what India does. India का जो नाविक program है, that uses the same orbit, that geosynchronous and geostationary orbit. I will come to नाविक in a moment. वो भी हमारा syllabus में है, हमारे material में नाविक के बारे में भी हमको पढ़ना है. Then इसरो, अब इसरो पे हम बात करते हैं, इसरो के रॉकेट्स की बात करते हैं. इसरो के हम अभी सिर्फ 2 रॉकेट पे फोकस करेंगे, बाकी हम जो करंट अफेयर्स है उसको हम बाद में ऐड करेंगे. बट अभी लेट्स फोकस अपॉन 2 टाइप्स ऑफ रॉकेट्स. One of the rocket ISRO made was PSLV, and another one which we made is GSLV. PSLV में P जो है that stands for polar. So this is polar satellite launch vehicle, and here G stands for geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. So as the name suggests, this rocket was designed to launch satellites into polar orbit, which means that this was mainly designed for remote sensing satellites. And this was designed to launch satellites into geosynchronous orbit, which means that it was mainly designed for communication satellite. However, it should be very clear that PSLV can be used for geo transfer orbit, geosynchronous orbit, and GSLV can be used for lower orbits. PSLV के केस में if I want to go higher, how much mass of satellite it can carry वो कम हो जाएगा. PSLV weaker rocket है, इसका जो capacity है वो कम है. GSLV का capacity जो है वो ज़्यादा है. So this can carry heavier payload into geosynchronous orbit and even more heavier into low Earth orbit. Okay, जैसे NISAR, which is a very heavy satellite. So PSLV was not used for NISAR mission. GSLV was used. Even though NISAR was placed into an orbit of some 700 kilometer, which is a low Earth orbit. Even then we did not use PSLV because it was a very heavy satellite. We used GSLV for that, okay? So we can now merge all of this knowledge together. We can first talk about types of satellites. And one of the type of satellite is communication satellite. Second is Earth observation satellite. And third is navigational satellite. Where do we place them? What type of orbit we place them? Communication, ideally we will place them into but ये बहुत clear होना चाहिए कि thumb rule नहीं है. I can have communication satellites into low Earth orbit. By the way, geosynchronous का जो height है, as I said earlier, this is 35,786 kilometer. So Earth observation satellites हैं, they will be placed into LEO. They will be placed into polar, they will be placed into sun synchronous polar orbit. Again, this is not a thumb rule. I can have remote sensing satellites which will be at higher altitude. And then I have navigational satellite. They will be placed into either medium Earth orbit, somewhere around 20,000 kilometer, or they can be also placed into geosynchronous orbit. If I talk about ISRO, then ISRO often uses GSLV for this. For Earth observation, it uses PSLV. And here also it uses GSLV because it is in Navik, जो हमारे satellites हैं. These are geosynchronous satellites placed in geosynchronous orbit. So this is just like very basic information we will have at the back of our mind when we talk about these topics. Now let's jump to the main topic. I wanted to first establish this basic framework before I jump into the current affairs part. Okay, so let me show you like pictures of all of these things so that you have a visual. This is picture of a communication satellite which was launched a few years ago by ISRO. This is picture of GSAT-30. And this is picture of one of the Earth observation satellite which was successfully placed. The latest one was not. अभी आपने पढ़ा होगा last week का news है जो हमारा जो 9th I think EOS 09 that was essentially that launching failed. But this is picture of EOS 07. EOS here stands for Earth observation and G here stands for geosynchronous satellite. Okay. This is what I mean when I talk about equatorial, polar versus some other type of orbits. And this is what I meant when I talked about that why polar orbits are very useful, because satellites in polar orbits, they will be able to map entire planet Earth, while satellites in equatorial orbit, they will not be able to do that. And this is what I mean when I say that satellites placed into geostationary orbit, they will seem to be fixed with respect to a particular point on equator, because satellites' time period of revolution and Earth's rotation, that exactly matches with each other.